Hi Gemini, Sun, Moon and Rising, welcome to your reading. We will see how this Aries solar eclipse is impacting you. So the nodes are shifting. They have not yet shifted, but they're still shifting from Taurus Scorpio axis to Aries Libra axis. So the topics and the areas of life that we are mostly focused on and geared towards is going to be changing, and also the places where the fates are unfolding and the universe is kind of guiding us the most is also shifting accordingly. But we still have a little bit of a hybrid year in 2023. There are some Taurus Scorpio eclipses that will take place, but it is in no way similar to what was happening in the previous year. And yes, the themes that we see could be a little bit different, perhaps a culmination or a coalescence of just everything that we have learned so far in a very different context, basically. So yes, I'm very curious how this is unfolding for you. Also, one thing to note is that this new moon is going to be squaring with Pluto. So the new moon is taking place in the 29th degree, which is it's the very last degree of a particular zodiac, and usually cusp people are born around the 0 degrees or the 29 degrees of a particular zodiac. So they carry a bit of an urgency and an idealistic viewpoint, respectively. So the new moon is about creating new beginnings in something that we just need to do in terms of an Aries context. So we have been waiting to take an initiative in a particular sector. For example, if you're watching for your rising sign, then this would be in your 11th house of friendship, hopes and ambitions, your aspirations in life, your goals in general, the network and community that you relate to, and also can correspond to some steps that your friends are trying to make since quite some time, and they have been blocked in certain areas. So this particular eclipse can create that new beginning, which is actually something previously wished and now finally you're able to go for it. But then it is squaring with the idealistic viewpoint of Pluto of, if we change houses, for example, then we need to, take the drastic measure of moving entire countries and, uprooting our entire lifestyle, things like that. So there can be that basically is the struggle, that we're trying to make a change, but because we're not very experienced in certain areas, but we are very experienced in some other areas, there is a tiff of what is the balance point or what would be the best way to go. There is not that ideal level of maturity that we would look for. So yes, it can feel a little bit difficult around this time, but sit with it, spend some time. It will become clear as the days pass by. Yes, any big decisions that you want to make, perhaps this lunation is not the best time to make those. But yes, there will be some benefits coming through from this, because ultimately eclipses are bringing about fateful changes, which would be best and ideal for our soul's growth and purpose in life. So, okay, let's see what this is for you. We have Dhumavati, which is about death and transformation. There are certain areas of life that just need some purging. For example, you might not associate with the friend circles that you once thought were, your forever everything. Perhaps you are going through a certain type of transformation and regeneration, and that's why you no longer resonate with certain wishes that you've held on to from your past. It feels like a completely new chapter, a renewal of sorts. Pluto is basically the planet of death and rebirth. It rules Scorpio. So for you guys, it can be, where would it be? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6th house. So perhaps you're changing your profession. Something that is more inspiring for you could be coming around here. Perhaps you're letting go of certain responsibilities as well that no longer resonate with you, and because of that, you're giving yourself more chance and scope to grow in a different manner. Okay. Next we have Pratyahara, which is about control of the senses, not letting distractions be the dictator of how you choose your life steps, basically, the choices you're making in life. So kind of getting a streamlined flow over here, and it looks like as if vital energy is kind of flowing from the heavens, from the skies, into your body. So you might be kind of taking up some sort of purging exercises or transformative regenerative places like counseling, for example, or working in a group towards a common cause could be something that inspires you around this time. And yes, that kind of helps you streamline your own life. There can be some decluttering that you're going through as well as a result of this, but it comes from a deeper place of, is this meaningful for me, instead of, you know, these clothes are old now, so I need to buy some new clothes or new furniture or something. So yes, there is a deeper reasoning behind certain choices that you make about your surroundings. Let's see, where is Libra? And yes, another thing to keep in mind is this eclipse is at a sextile to you. So ultimately it is going to be beneficial for you, but of course there are certain steps to take, but ultimately it is still helping you out. Also, you have Venus in your zodiac at this time, so that is going to be helping you kind of think more clearly or think more beneficially for you, seize the opportunities, see the blessings in the chaos, things like that. So your perspective in general is a little bit optimistic around this time. The ruler of this zodiac Aries is Mars, and that is in Cancer, in a watery sign, where it's not very comfortable because it's quite opposite its element, but that can also indicate that the emotions that we have kind of suppressed, that is coming through up to the surface, or we might be reacting more emotionally around this time, and that reaction can be turned into response depending on your will and your desire. Mars is basically very much capable of controlling the emotions if the situation commands for that, basically. So it's kind of up to you and how you want to take the situation forward. Okay, so there is a lot of self-discipline and decluttering and so on that's going on, very rich and powerful around this time. Then we have the 9th house, which connects with your life philosophy, belief system, and your connection with the divine. So yes, again, there can be more meditation and prayers you might be doing, or again, more into the philosophical viewpoint of what your bigger goals are, what your future visions are. Those could be going some sort of transformations and expansion. Okay, so there might be some new awareness that comes into you. This card is actually sticking out more to me than this one. So it feels as though you are already going through a decluttering phase and you're kind of finishing that off in order to allow more blessings, more flow, and more gratitude to come towards you because of this particular eclipse. And once again, during the eclipse itself, or like 2 days before, 2 days after, and for more sensitive people, 1 week before and after, you might feel a little bit chaotic energy around you, or perhaps your friends' lives are a little bit chaotic as well, so it might be hard for you to reach out to people or get a response from people because they themselves are busy and so on. And that is an encouragement for you to go within and kind of ask yourself or ask the divine directly. Some of you might be even interested to connect very directly with Source in some way, or channel the Source in your everyday life. So living more mindfully, more purposefully, and eating something healthier, dressing loose, comfortable, things like that, where you just feel more connected and grounded. All right, then we have the 8th house, which is about transformation, death, and rebirth. It's the Scorpio house. Not surprised that it's here. Eclipses do bring about a huge amount of changes, and the South Node is still in Scorpio, so we definitely are dealing with some themes of that. What's interesting about this particular eclipse is because it's at the very end, 8 minutes after the eclipse, the moon quickly moves into Taurus. So we kind of have a carryover energy of what was started in your 11th house that moves into the 12th house. Okay, so you have an aha moment, and then in the 12th house you quickly move to dissolving all the obstacles and imbalances. Okay, it's like, oh, okay, so I want to move in that direction. Okay, so what stands in the way? Let's get rid of that, right? There's a quick action plan and a quick decision, and it's like very clear and urgent. You just know it. You just absolutely know it, what needs to go, what needs to stay, and so on. And you're making transformations accordingly. Then we have the 10th house. You have so many houses coming through. Wow, okay, so 10th house is about your career, your public reputation, and how other people in general, like strangers, how do they recognize you? How would they describe you from first glance? That's this. So I guess you're changing your appearance in some way in terms of a public platform, if you have that. But even if not, like you go out to, buy groceries and things like that, right? So in that way, like you could be changing what you dress up as, or how do you travel to the grocery space, or something of that sort, which kind of creates a lifestyle shift. There is also a difference in outlook of your life. It feels like you're shifting the way that you see the world in general. Okay, there is more independence and autonomy is what I'm hearing as well. With the 10th house, you might be taking up a business. 10th house is the business house. Okay, so you might be building a bit of a network in order to expand that particular business. You might be letting go of obstacles and self-doubts and fears as well in order to establish this in a more streamlined manner as well. Yes, and for those who are not interested in business, this can be just you up-leveling in your career, in your studies, showing up even more commanding and strong in whichever way that you are showing up in the world. This can also talk about a culmination of a higher education that you might be doing, and you might be entering the workforce around this time. Yeah, my brother's a Gemini, and I think he is going to go through that graduation. So yeah, that relates very quickly, very immediately to him. So some of you could have that going on as well. Okay, so we have Mars, which is passion, anger, action, courage, desire, and competition. It's the planet of courage and action, like it says. So in terms of, because it is placed in Cancer, I feel you have more emotional courage. If it feels right to you, if you're intuitively feeling drawn to a certain space or certain connections, you will take action in that way. And because you're seeming more streamlined here around this time, or right after this particular ecliptic energy kind of smooths out a little bit, you're making connections more effortlessly. Also, if you're into research of some sort, then you can be, connecting with like-minded people, or the correct, guide or mentor that you are looking for comes your way. You're kind of finding more encouragement and enthusiasm to carry forward and keep on that upwards cycle, basically. Bottom line is that whatever is stopping you is no longer stopping you. Okay? Yeah, all right. So then we have the 8 of Pentacles with Sun in Virgo, mastery. Yes, absolutely. So this is that self-discipline and routine, having a healthy lifestyle, living well. There could be some up level in that way. You might be carving a space for your workspace, or again, having a morning schedule or an evening schedule or something of that sort, where you just feel a lot more organized and clutter-free in general in your incomings and outgoings in life. Okay, next we have the 8 of Swords with Jupiter in Gemini with interference. Okay, let's see what else we have. This basically says that there is a victim mentality that needs to be dealt with, and again, this can be a thing of the past. 2 8s, by the way, I'm seeing, so it indicates that there is abundance waiting. Jupiter in Gemini can also be that there are a lot of thoughts or a lot of ideas, and there are many possibilities of self-expansion for you, that it might be a little bit confusing or unclear, actually. That is, I think, the better word. It's unclear as to what would be exactly the best choice. So there is not enough focus in this particular energy, and that usually happens when we have eclipse vibe. But because the zodiacs are pretty streamlined, very soon you're going to figure things out, so that's not a problem. But yes, it indicates that you might have a lot of possibilities, a lot of ideas, and it might feel a little bit crippling, even a little bit scary to think about which way would be the best way. Am I trapping myself, or am I at a disadvantage if I pick that option over this one? Things like that. Okay, then we have 3 of Pentacles, Mars in Capricorn with effort. 3 of Pentacles is about teamwork, and yes, you do have to put in some effort. I did already mention that with the sextile energy, but yes, after you put in the effort and cooperate with the people who are going through a similar situation, or yes, they're going through a similar situation but have different skill sets from you. Working with those people can be very beneficial around this time. So kind of jogging ideas with someone else, brainstorming with them, or putting in the effort along with someone else. Let's say you have to make applications, then you can kind of pull each other up and be like, okay, from 10 to 11 a.m. we're going to make applications, and then we'll take a bit of a lunch break, or we'll take a bit of a chat break, and then we get back to it again. Perhaps someone has better language skills, meanwhile the other person has better presentation, meanwhile the other one has better content. So yes, working together as a community, as a group, unitedly, is going to be extremely beneficial for you beyond this eclipse, and that's something that it's bringing through. Also, there is higher levels of financial resources, so if you're worried about that, then there can be more loans, investments, other savings that could increase as well. Yes, we did have that friendship and community vibe going through, so yes, that's definitely coming through. There is some help, absolutely. Mars in Capricorn is as well very focused and driven, so we like to have that. Okay, then we have 8 of Cups, Saturn in Pisces with renounce. Yes, Saturn is in Pisces at this time. And for you, that is going to be in your 4th house, is it? No, in your... let me see, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10th house. Okay, all right. Okay. We do have the 10th house. So yes, you might be letting go of a certain public image that you have. So I give this example of if you were a teacher, you might become a student, or if you're a student, then you become a teacher. This can also be that you let go of having a full-time job and you want to focus on your well-being. There can be some retirement going on here as well, and you might be kind of looking at the various options of what you could do now, right? It's time to move on. That's kind of the 8 of Cups vibe. By the way, we have 4 8s actually with the 8th house as well. So whatever change is happening and letting go of things and so on is actually extremely abundant and beneficial for you. You will feel very fulfilled, much more neat, organized, focused, and streamlined in your efforts. There's also more creativity that is coming through. Like I said, with this particular card, there is mastery of the senses, such that the original life force can flow through you, right? So you're a conduit for the natural creative forces and communicative forces that are already there as well. So you're allowing that wisdom and awareness to come through you. You're not manufacturing it yourself. So there is kind of this weight being lifted as a result of that, right? You don't have to take up so much of that stress on you. Saturn in Pisces can be like renouncing that type of heaviness and weight, and becoming more weightless, prioritizing the spiritual and religious or even creative, intuitive fields as well over something that is very dogmatic, right? So if you're not very happy in whichever public image that you have in your career or professional sphere, then this is a very likely event that triggers these thoughts of, okay, I want to work, let's say, in a more... instead of a hierarchical structure, I want to have a flat hierarchy. So everyone is equal and we work according to our strengths, not because someone is, older in age or something of that sort. It can even be starting your own company, so you have some people to help you out. It might be small and close-knit, but it is still something very enjoyable or rewarding for you, actually. And of course, when you're taking such, big steps or movements, changes that are being created in life, there can be certain fears and difficulties that you might encounter, but 8 of Swords indicates that it's your thoughts that are interfering or causing difficulty, and not really the outward circumstances. So we need to deal with our inner demons around this time, if they crop up. Okay, so yes, if you've been planning for this, then this might be just that, nervousness of, okay, I'm about to do this, I can't believe I'm about to do this, that kind of feeling here, but it is still something that's like exciting as well. Okay, in this particular card, I don't know why I'm feeling that for you guys here. Okay, then we have the 9 of Swords with Mars and Gemini with despair. So you have 8 and 9 of Swords. All right, so there is a level of anxiety that we were getting already. I'm getting a feeling of nervousness or anxiety about what's to come. Mars in Gemini can be, well, it has been in this zodiac for quite some time. And this can indicate that there is a lot of boost in terms of your energy levels, but it can feel a little bit restless because Gemini is a mutable sign. You might be feeling torn in 2 different directions. This can be that, if you go a particular way, it's kind of what I was saying already. Actually, I don't want to repeat myself. But yes, you might be questioning whether if you make a certain choice, are you making the best choice? Or are there much better ways to go about things that you're not aware of? Is this the right move forward? Things like that. I think there are just many questions that need to be taken care of. And especially if you're like starting your own business or a company of yours, or you're leaving behind a company, let's say you're retiring, there might be some other paperwork that you're dealing with, and it might be a little bit exhausting or long drawn, or you're not a fan of documentation and paperwork. I know I'm not, so I usually get this card when I have to like apply for my visa and things like that. I freak out a little bit. But that doesn't mean that I don't get my visa or I don't get, something approved. But it just means that I take on a lot more stress than I need to for that particular situation. Okay, so I'm just saying you don't have to be very scared about this unless, actually fear has no point really. It just brings into awareness something that already was going on behind the scenes. Now let me see the themes here. We have 2 Geminis, we have two mutable signs, Pisces and Virgo. Yes, so there could be some changes in the home sphere as well, because you are changing your work. Perhaps you work from home more, or you want to work from home more, so you're transforming either your designation or the roles or responsibilities that you take upon yourself. You might choose for a study and work option, so you are able to spend a little bit more time with your family members as well. There could be some home organization, neatening, interior design, things like that you could take up and you are more interested in because it brings you more creativity. Ultimately, you're working according to your strengths, and I think this nervousness and the interference is really about the mental space of I don't know at this time. There is a chaotic energy that's coming through, and that usually happens with eclipses, so it's not something to be very worried about. Just take it one step at a time, because taking on more than you can really serves no purpose and really makes you upset, and nobody wants that for you, right? So yes, okay, your mental space is going to be very important. Luckily, we do have Venus in your zodiacs around this time, so that's very beneficial, helps you out, stay a little bit calm. So yes, taking on some like self-care methods is going to be very, very important when you're dealing with a lot of different things. Okay, Geminis, please, about this eclipse. Okay, great. We have Gemini, 11th house, and Jupiter. Some of you could be watching for your sun and moon signs where Gemini is in your 11th house. But even if not, this is indicating that there's a lot more communication or more networking that you do. There is an increase in friendships. Oh, and by the way, 8 and 9 of Swords can be referring to your friends in your community or your siblings going through a lot of different things in their lives, and they might be nervous and feeling a little bit in a victim mindset or a little bit stuck in terms of making choices. Like I said, my brother is going through this, so he might have to make more applications, and there would be more interviews and things like that for whatever next step he takes. So he might feel a little bit scared in certain spaces. He might be nervous because he's new to it and he's moving on to a whole new chapter. So yes, if you are the older sibling, or even the younger, actually, regardless of which sibling it is, it looks like you are in a supportive position if you are not looking to make like huge changes around this time in that sphere. But apart from that, yes, it might increase your public persona or your presence. You might connect with more friends. They might be going through certain things and you're there to support them. It might also be that you have a lot of resources and you might be feeling torn about who do you want to help at this time, who genuinely needs your support, what cause is worth fighting for at this time, because you can't spread yourself very, very thin, because then you're exhausting yourself, right? So I think there is like a lot of desire to do a lot of things really well, but then it's also at the same time overwhelming. So streamlining the process or really deciding and understanding your own priorities is very important. So like I said, your self-care, and also the 3 of Pentacles, work with other people who are in a stronger position as well, to either help you out or help each other, or together help other people. right? So yeah, there are some options here. One more time, let's go again with Gemini, please. We have Venus 11th house in Taurus. Excellent. So yes, you're definitely being protected, and there are some blessings coming through in terms of your aspirations. Now the 8 and 9 of Swords can also indicate that a dream of yours is coming to reality, and now that it's coming here, you might feel a sense of, oh goodness, can I keep this up? Can I do this? I know I asked for it, but now that I see it, it might feel like, whoa, it's actually here. Can I keep it up? And there can be some self-doubts about how do you go forward from here, right? Make sure to not self-sabotage, okay? 8 of Swords can talk about that. Your thoughts. You are not your thoughts. They are a tool. Make sure they're aligned to what you want to manifest, and not focus on the things that could go wrong and so on, because you don't want those things, right? If you don't want those things, there is no point in focusing on those particular thoughts. And Jupiter is acting as a protective thing as well. But we need to keep in mind, Jupiter, while is very benevolent and lucky, is also expansive. So if you're catering more to negative thought patterns, then Jupiter will boost that up and make sure that those things are being amplified and sent to the universe, okay? And I'm not saying that you can never have a difficult thought. That is not being human anymore. So yes, it's okay if you're feeling stuck at some points, and if sometimes it's a little bit too much, but then make sure to not keep going down that rabbit hole. That's my only point, right? Jupiter is here to help you out. Saturn is there to help you out as well. In general, you have quite a few friends and blessings of your acquaintances and community as well. So yeah, lean on them if that's something you need to. Yes. Okay, so that's what I have for you, Geminis. Thank you so much for being here. I really hope the reading helps you out, gives you more clarity of what's to come. Let me know your thoughts. If you want a personal reading, you can reach me via Etsy. The link is in the description box in the comment below. I will see you some other time. Until then, take care. Bye.